Over 1.6 billion is being invested in McKinney right now, with 8 billion coming over the next decade. And most people don't really have any idea about that. But while everyone's trying to buy in Frisco or Prosper or Salina, McKinney's getting a commercial airport, a $1.3 billion urban district, and massive highway upgrades. And that's all happening right now. My name's Levi, by the way, and I've lived in Dallas for over 25 years. We help over 100 families every single year buy or sell their home right here in Dallas. And today I'm breaking down these 7 projects that are going to transform McKinney and revealing which neighborhoods are positioned to benefit most before this window closes. All right, but first, here's something most people miss. McKinney isn't just growing, it is exploding at a rate that's about to create massive opportunities for anyone that's really kind of paying attention. Now, the population just hit 224,000 in 2025, and that's up 5.4% in a single year. But city officials are projecting McKinney's population to hit around 284,000 by 2040. So we're talking about another 60,000 people moving here in the next 15 years. So you've got infrastructure, housing, retail, schools, all that has to keep up. And this is where these 7 projects are about to come into play. But here's what's really going to blow your mind when we get to the airport expansion. I mean, McKinney is about to become the 3rd commercial airport in the entire Dallas-Fort Worth area. And that's a pretty big game changer, I think, for property values. But we'll get to that here in just a little bit. Now, the median home price right now is around $505,000, and that's even up 1.2% from last year. So that type of growth is creating opportunity. And these 7 projects we're about to dive into are the infrastructure making it all possible. So let's get to the first one. All right, so project number 1 is going to be Long Branch, which is, I think, a $1.3 billion game changer. And what if I told you like a single development could create an entire urban hub really from scratch? And Long Branch is a $1.3 billion mixed-use development. It's going to create a whole new urban hub at the northwest corner of 75 and the 380 bypass. Now, the McKinney City Council approved the project in April of 2025, so this is a 155-acre site. It's about 80 acres of that will be active development. The developer is Creation, that's based out of Dallas and Phoenix. So they're partnering with Horizon Capital Holdings and Valter, and so you're getting around 1,600 multifamily homes, and there's going to be 135,000 square feet of retail space anchored by a 65,000 square foot office campus with 2 6-story buildings. You've got a 100-room hotel and a 5-story parking garage with over 910 spaces. But here's what I really like. I mean, they are building in 6,000 linear feet of pedestrian trails, but you got mature landscaping, you got outdoor gathering areas, and they're preserving 6 acres of green space. So it's not just about cramming in as much development as possible. I mean, they're thinking about walkability, community, really the kind of the whole experience. But you got to think, like, why does this location matter so much? Well, Highway 75 and the future 380 bypass are going to be one of the most prominent highway interchanges in North Dallas. So TxDOT is planning an 8-lane freeway with frontage roads along 380 to address the area's growth. And when we get to the Spur 399 project, you'll see how this $182 million infrastructure upgrade connects directly to Long Branch, when that'll create a transportation network that's going to slash some commute times. Now, this all matters because when you have a development like this at a major intersection, it becomes a hub, and people want to live near it, they want to work near it, they want to eat close by. I mean, if you're looking for neighborhoods within a few miles of this intersection, you're probably going to see some solid appreciation over the next decade as this thing gets built out. And when we're speaking of large-scale developments, I want to look at what's happening just north of here. And that's going to bring us to project number 2, which is Huntington Park, which is about 785 acres. And if you think that's big, wait until you see how they're phasing this to avoid the mistakes that other developers make. But Huntington Park, again, 785 acres of mixed-use development. It's just north of Highway 380. Now, the developer is Billingsley Company, and they're based in Dallas, and they've got a pretty solid track record with large-scale developments. But here's how the land breaks down. About 375 acres are going to be single-family homes. You've got about 22 acres for brownstone-style housing and approximately 70 acres for multifamily. You got 175 acres for commercial space and 63 acres of open space. So they're preserving a heavily wooded area in the northeast corner as a natural buffer, and I think that's what's smart because it maintains that McKinney character even as the city grows. Now, here's what's really interesting about Huntington Park is they've got this phased approach tied to specific triggers. Site plans for multifamily development can't even be submitted until at least 12 acres of commercial development have a certificate of occupancy. So, and either the 380 bypass section is under construction or at least 100 acres. So keep this phasing strategy in mind, because when we talk about Painted Tree and Trinity Falls here in just a little bit, you'll see how getting into early phases of master plan communities typically locks built-in appreciation as prices rise through development. But I'll break down the exact numbers here in just a minute. Now, so they're making sure that things develop in an orderly way and not just throwing up apartments everywhere before the infrastructure is ready. So the developer has emphasized they're committed to preserving McKinney's natural character, and you can see that with the 63 acres of open space that they're keeping. And that's a pretty big deal when you're talking about a 785-acre development. Now, this type of growth protects, I think, the value long term. So if you're looking at buying in or near this area, you're getting in early while what's going to be a pretty established community in the next 5 to 10 years. And this brings us to a completely different approach, and that's one that's really revitalizing what's already there. Now, if we move over to Project 3, that's going to be East McKinney redevelopment and the new City Hall. Now, not every transformation happens really on empty land. Sometimes some of the biggest opportunities is right in the historic heart of the city, and the East McKinney redevelopment is about revitalizing what's already there. So the centerpiece is the new McKinney City Hall, and it opened in January of 25. Now, the new City Hall is at 401 East Virginia Street. It's a 175,000 square foot, 5-story building. It sits on almost 9 acres, but the city funded this with a $50 million bond that voters approved back in 2019. And before this, McKinney City operations were spread across 9 different leased buildings. So now everything's consolidated into one place, and that's saving the city, more importantly you the taxpayer, about $650,000 a year. But more importantly, it's a catalyst for the whole East McKinney area. Mayor George Fuller said that this new City Hall is more than just a building. It's a symbol of progress and growth. It serves kind of as a central hub for the city's services. You got civic engagement, you've got the community pride, and really I think he's onto something there. When you invest into a municipal complex like this, it kind of signals to developers and businesses that the area is a priority. So it's not just about the City Hall though. There's also the Virginia and Throckmorton infrastructure improvement project, and that's $13 million investment running from March 24 through summer of 25, and this includes the street reconstruction, drainage upgrades, you got utility work, pedestrian improvements, and better lighting. And so they're even adding a single lane roundabout at the intersection of Throckmorton and East Virginia streets. And so this downtown transformation can create some opportunity. And when you transform a historic downtown like this, property values typically start to climb. I mean, people want walkability, they want character, they want to be near the action. So if you're looking for something with history and charm rather than just kind of cookie cutter new construction, I mean, East McKinney can deliver that. And while downtown gets a facelift, I mean, there's a lifestyle play happening that's drawing a completely different crowd. And that brings us to project number 4, which is West Grove. And what's better than driving to Whole Foods? I think walking there, right? If you just need to pick up a few things. But that's exactly what West Grove is kind of banking on. It's a 52-acre mixed-use development, and that's at the southeast corner of 380 and Custer Road. This one's already partially open to the public as of March of 25, and you can actually go check it out right now. I actually shopped at Whole Foods there the other day. The developer is De La Vega Development. I mean, they're based in Dallas, and when the thing's complete, you're looking at over 500,000 square feet of retail and restaurants, 55,000 square feet of residential space, and 420 luxury apartments, another 55,000 square feet of office space, plus they've got green space scattered throughout the whole property. Now, the big anchor tenant is Whole Foods Market, and they opened just recently in August, and this is a 47,000 square foot store, over 600 local items sourced from Texas and neighboring states. So now beyond Whole Foods, you've also got Orange Orange Twist, you've got Velvet Taco, Chewy Vet Care, PNC Bank. Those are all planned to come in as well. But this is a really cool spot where you can shop, eat, live close by, and work all in one place. And I love developments like this because they really make neighborhoods more livable. And so when you've got Whole Foods and all of these restaurants and shops within walking distance or a short drive, I mean, I think that's a huge selling point. So homes near West Grove, I'd expect to see some steady demand and appreciation as this project continues to fill out. And if you think a lifestyle center is impressive, wait until you hear what commercial airline service means for property values. And that brings us to project number 5, which is McKinney's National Airport expansion. And think about that. Commercial flights from McKinney sounds pretty cool, right? I mean, here's why it's about to change everything for nearby properties. I mean, McKinney National Airport is getting a $79 million makeover to introduce commercial passenger service. So this is going to make it in the DFW area. And they held a groundbreaking in July of 25. So the terminal is expected to be completed by the end of 2026. So passenger services starting in late 26. I mean, this is a new terminal that's 46,000 square feet with 4 gates initially. Now they're expanding to 6, or they will expand to 6, and they're building a 980 space parking lot with the ability to expand that to over 1,400 spaces. So the terminal is a ground loading facility, which means you can load passengers from both the front and the back of the aircraft. So they're also building 6 aircraft parking positions for both commercial and general aviation. And they've got a new taxiway on the east side of the existing runway. They've also got an aircraft de-icing facility, above ground fuel storage tanks, and a roundabout off of 546 for airport access. But here's what's really interesting is they're projecting 200,000 passengers annually to start. So by 2031, though, they expect up to 1 million passengers a year. So initially they're looking at 3 flights daily, probably on narrow body jets like 737s or A320s. But you might be wondering, like, where's that money coming from as well? Well, they're looking at sales tax revenue bonds, federal low interest loans from the Transportation Infrastructure and Innovation Act. They got $14.8 million grant from the Texas Department of Transportation. They got $1.7 million from McKinney Economic Development Corps and $3.6 million from McKinney's Community Development Corps. And Mayor Bill Cox, he just said this new terminal is not just an investment in McKinney, it's an investment in the future of North Texas. And I think that's a good call. When you add commercial airline service, you're opening the door to more business, more logistics, more corporate travel. I mean, all of which influence housing demand, hotel demand, office demand. I mean, really everything. So airport expansions have what I call kind of like the gateway effect. When transportation nodes upgrade, value around them tends to rise. And speaking of getting around easier, I mean, I want to talk about the road project that's fixing McKinney's biggest traffic nightmare. And that brings us to project number 6, which is the Spur 399. And you know, the section of road where you're stuck for 20 minutes going nowhere. They're about to turn that into 6 lanes of smooth sailing, hopefully. But Spur 399 expansion is about a $182 million project. It's going to widen Spur 399 from 75 to Stewart Road in McKinney, and going from 4 lanes to 6 lanes. So they broke ground in June of 25, and construction started in the summer of 25. So expected completion in 2029. So not too far away, but the contractor is Weber LLC, and when it's done, you're going to have 6 lanes plus frontage roads and a grade separated intersection. So it's going to be a pretty good upgrade. But you may be wondering, like, why does this matter? Well, 399 sees about 32,000 vehicles per day, but once this expansion is complete, it's going to be able to handle 243,000 vehicles a day, and it's going to reduce daily delay by more than 13,500 hours, according to the Texas A&M Transportation Institute. So that's a pretty big deal because they also said this is the 44th most congested road in Texas. So it's causing over 120,000 annual hours of delay per mile. So this is a major pain point that I think is going to get fixed soon. But the project is actually just the first phase of a much bigger vision. I mean, eventually Spur 399 is going to extend all the way to connect 75 to 380 near Princeton. So you're creating this alternate north-south route that's going to really kind of provide crucial capacity for the entire region. Now, TxDOT Executive Director Mark Williams, he he said this is a huge step towards improving mobility and easing congestion in Collin County. So Texas Transportation Commissioner Robert Vaughn added that over the coming years, TxDOT is going to invest $8 billion into projects along Spur 399 and 380 in Collin County. So, I mean, $8 billion, that's not a small commitment at all. But something else that's really cool is once Spur 399 is connected to 380, ownership of the State Highway 5 is going to be transferred to the city. So McKinney will be able to repurpose that roadway with better pedestrian infrastructure. And that's going to make the whole area more walkable and livable. I mean, better roads mean kind of shorter commutes, which means people are willing to live farther out. And I want to talk about where all of these new residents are actually going to live. And that brings us to project number 7, which is the master plan communities, mainly Painted Tree and Trinity Falls. Now, here's something the builders won't tell you about master plan communities is that the earlier you buy, the more money you make typically. And I want to show you why, because Painted Tree just hit #1 as the top selling master plan community in Dallas-Fort Worth. It's ranked number 17 nationally according to RCLCO's mid-2025 top 50 list. So a lot of people love it. We've helped many people move there. Painted Tree is just north of 380 near Lake Forest and west of Highway 75, about 30 miles north of Dallas. The total size is about 1,100 acres. And as of 2025, they've completed about 1,000 homes. Prices range from the 400s to over 1 million, depending on what you're looking for. They started construction around 2022, and the community is really divided into 3 major districts. You've got the Woodland District, you've got Lakeside, and you've got the Village District. So each district is connected by 25 miles of trails and pathways. They got 200 acres of preserved natural open space and a 20-acre fish stocked lake. And then you look at amenities, you've got the Village Trailhead with the resort-style pool and fire pit areas. You got the Outpost, which is a 11.5-acre national park-inspired hub that opened in spring of 25. So coming soon is the Lakeside Trailhead with really great lake views. Plus, you've got multiple playgrounds and parks. You got a mountain bike area, a community garden, and even a food truck court. So, and then you got Trinity Falls, which is another massive master plan community. And this one's about 2,000 acres, developed by Johnson Development, which has a pretty good reputation. It's northwest of McKinney, just off of 75, about 25 miles north of downtown Dallas. They've got more than 450 acres dedicated to parks, green spaces, and trails. So the big draw here is B.B. Owen Park. It's a 350-acre natural park nestled along the east fork of the Trinity River. So you've got miles of winding wooded river frontage. You got authentic nature trails for bird watching and wildlife tracking. You got fishing lakes, an amphitheater for special events. I mean, and an 18-hole disc golf course. I mean, what more could you ask for? And as far as amenities, they've got the Lodge. That's their newest addition. It's got a sparkling pool with cabanas. They've got state-of-the-art fitness room. They've got co-working spaces. They've got a versatile event area, a food truck alley, and an outdoor event lawn and patio areas. And then there's the club with a beach entry pool. You got a splash pad. You got grilling stations, tricycle track, and a playground. I mean, then you got Base Camp has another splash pad, the playground, and outdoor pavilion for concerts and activities. Plus, they've got the Old Joe Dog Park just for all your lovely pets, right? Now, both of these communities are kind of setting the standards for suburban living. I mean, the number of single-family home permits issued in McKinney reached over 2,300 in 2024 and the highest total since 2017. But several of the neighborhoods in North McKinney are ranking within the top projects for permits issued. So the demand is clearly there. And this matters because getting into these master plan communities early, especially in the first few phases, usually means built-in appreciation. I mean, builders will typically start prices a little bit lower to attract the initial buyers. Then as the community fills in and amenities come online, prices tend to go up. But if you're looking at Painted Tree or Trinity Falls, you can get in now, and it's usually a pretty solid play. So I think that's where a lot of the smart money is moving in McKinney. But I also promised to tell you which neighborhoods are positioned to benefit most, and these are the 5 areas that you need to watch. First, anything within a few miles of Long Branch, that's the northwest corner of 75 and the 380 bypass, and that's going to see some serious appreciation. I mean, this is becoming a major hub of retail, office, hospitality, and housing all in one place, so neighborhoods nearby are going to benefit from the accessibility and the amenities. Second, the area around West Grove, and that's Highway 380 and Custer Road. It's already seeing demand start to pick up there. I mean, with Whole Foods and all of the restaurants and shops opening up, this is going to become a lifestyle destination, so homes within a short drive drive or walk of West Grove, I think are going to start moving up in price. Third, you've got East McKinney near the new city hall. So that's a pretty good revitalization play. So you're getting walkability, you're getting character, and all of the energy of the downtown area that's really coming back to life. So if you're looking for something with a little more history and charm, I think that's a great spot. All right, number 4 is anywhere along Spur 399 or near the McKinney National Airport is going to probably benefit from the infrastructure upgrades. So better roads, you got commercial airline service that are going to make these areas a lot more desirable over the next 5 to 10 years. And then, of course, fifth, if you're looking at master plan communities, I think Painted Tree, Trinity Falls, both are pretty good options. They're already top sellers, but there's still room to get in before the later phases, I think, drive the prices up even a little bit higher. But the main thing is that we'd love to have a conversation with you about your current situation. I mean, everybody's individual situation is completely different, so we always just recommend reach out. You can shoot me a text with the number on the screen or down in the description below. We'd be very happy to help you make a smooth move here within the Dallas area, or possibly sell your home and find your next home. Actually, if you want a free home evaluation, you can check the description and see what the value of your home, if it's close to what you think it is, or maybe you might be surprised, especially with what's happening in all of these areas. And if you're just curious about Dallas's future as well, I really detail some major projects coming to Dallas that is going to change the game as well. You should check out that video right here. And until next time, well, you hope to show you around town.